Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Mahatma Gandhi. The year 2026 has just begun, yet for many people, the feeling of insecurity remains. Modern life does not suddenly become easier just because a new year has arrived. Your mind still feels like a fragile fortress, continuously attacked by pressure, failure, judgment, and that nameless fatigue. Perhaps somewhere deep inside, a fear still lingers. How can I stay strong when the new year arrives, but everything outside continues to push relentlessly? Stoic philosophy does not teach you to hide your pain or avoid challenges. It teaches you to turn difficulties into a training ground for your will, to see every failure as a foundation for inner strength so firm that it commands respect. A strong mind does not appear by chance. It is the result of the daily practice of the Stoic principles that allow you to stand firm amidst all storms. This video will show you how to build a truly unshakable mind in the Stoic spirit. Control yourself, overcome crises, and ensure nothing can shake you from within. Join me to the end so you won't miss the journey to becoming the strongest version of yourself in 2026. 1. Changing your mindset about challenges. To develop a mind so strong it scares others in 2026, the first step is not to look for the easy path. It begins with changing how you perceive challenges. Be honest with yourself. How long have you been hoping life would go smoothly, that everything happens exactly as you wish, and that each obstacle is merely temporary? If that resonates, it's time to wake up. One of our most common mistakes is believing that strong people face fewer difficulties. In reality, it is the opposite. The strongest individuals see challenges as opportunities to grow. They turn every obstacle into an exercise for their will. The mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it through failures and difficulties, it becomes fragile and breaks under pressure. Imagine someone who only lives in their comfort zone, avoids conflict, and shuns challenges. Any unexpected difficulty is enough to topple them. You might recognize yourself in that image. When an important opportunity arises, you hesitate instead of seizing it. When a sudden challenge occurs, you easily feel confused and let your emotions dictate your actions. The key is realizing that challenges are not the enemy. They are opportunities, a means to train your will and intellect. When you face obstacles, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I act to turn it into progress rather than a burden? When you begin to ask this question, every obstacle becomes a training session, every failure a valuable lesson, and every fear a challenge to overcome yourself. Let me tell you about my friend, Ben. Ben is intelligent but cautious and risk-averse. At work, he always avoided big projects, afraid of failure or criticism. When Ben was assigned to lead a complex project, he initially almost wanted to refuse. "I'm not capable enough," Ben told me. But I encouraged him. Don't see this as an obstacle. See it as an opportunity to train your will and problem-solving skills. At first, Ben was anxious, stressed, and even sleepless. Every team meeting felt overwhelming. But I gave him one simple advice. Each challenge is just a workout for your mind, and you don't have to be perfect the first time. Step by step, Ben learned to accept difficulty, focus on what he could control, rather than panic over what was beyond reach. After a few weeks, he became more confident, learned to respond calmly to unexpected changes, and the project gradually stabilized. After a few months, not only was the project successful, but Ben also felt mentally stronger, more confident in every situation, no longer afraid when facing challenges. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Instead of avoiding difficulties, turn them into a path for growth. Every obstacle contains a lesson if you are wise enough to see it and brave enough to act. When you learn to accept difficulties and treat them as opportunities for practice, you gradually become unshakable, even under relentless pressure or looming failure. Practicing a mindset shift toward challenges is not an overnight process. It begins by viewing every difficulty, failure, rejection, or criticism as a training session. When you face an obstacle, don't let emotions take control. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How will I act to turn it into progress rather than a burden? The answer helps you build endurance, confidence, and calmness in the face of any challenge. You can also start with small steps. Try accepting a difficult project, speaking your mind in a meeting, or stepping out of your comfort zone in relationships. All these small steps accumulate day by day, week by week, month by month, and your mind will grow so strong that nothing can shake it. When you train your will like a muscle, pressures, failures, and obstacles no longer break you. They become exercises to strengthen your mental resilience. Remember, challenges are not the enemy. They are opportunities to become unconquerable. See every difficulty, failure, and fear as a workout for your will. Start today, without waiting for inspiration or favorable circumstances. By changing your perspective on challenges, step by step, decision by decision, you are building a truly strong mind, a mind that will make others wary in 2026. 3 things to stop doing. Do you want to know the hardest truth about inner strength? To build a mind so unshakable, the first step is not to add more, it's to subtract. Remove the harmful habits that silently erode your will every day. Some mornings, you wake up full of energy, ready to conquer the world. But just as often, a small incident, like spilling coffee on your white shirt, is enough to irritate you, making you want to give up. Emotions fluctuate, and so does your will. So how do you build a mind truly strong, even when everything is chaotic? The answer is simpler than you think. Stop the things quietly weakening you. And the first step is to stop complaining. I used to be a master complainer. Early in my career, if a colleague was difficult, a boss assigned work last minute, or the weather turned bad, I could complain for hours. I blamed bad circumstances, annoying people, and the unfair world. But there is one truth nobody tells you. Complaining does not change circumstances. It only prolongs helplessness, sinking you into a sense of victimhood. After studying Stoic philosophy and reading Marcus Aurelius, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. I asked myself, If I do nothing to change the situation, what is the point of repeated complaining? And if I can do something, why not stand up and act instead of whining? I started with a simple rule. When I felt the urge to complain, I paused and took a breath. That shift freed energy for action instead of wasting it on helplessness. Second, stop seeking comfort. Just as muscles need stress to grow stronger, the mind needs discomfort to become resilient. Most of us prefer ease, avoid conflict, and dodge challenges. But be honest, does anyone grow from smooth, comfortable experiences? Every time you avoid difficulty, you miss a chance to strengthen yourself. Choosing the easy path may avoid short-term pain, but it prolongs inner weakness. I remember being assigned a major project beyond my current capacity. My first reaction was to find ways to avoid it, hoping colleagues would carry it, thinking, I'll do it next time. But that time, I forced myself to confront it. I learned to ask, take responsibility, and act despite pressure and discomfort. At first, it was extremely unpleasant, and I wanted to quit many times. But after a few weeks, I realized I had grown many times over. Not taking the easy path trained my will and courage, making me more confident when the next challenges appeared. Third, stop making excuses. Excuses are reasons to delay, justify laziness, or rationalize failure. I once had countless excuses not to exercise. I'm too busy. It's raining. I'll do it tomorrow. But the truth is, every excuse is a chance lost to improve. As long as you keep finding excuses, you remain stagnant. One simple but powerful principle: you always have a choice: progress or stand still. Emotional strength requires building resilience and overcoming internal weaknesses. Just like regularly going to the gym strengthens muscles, you can train your mind daily. On a good day, spilling coffee on your white shirt might just be a joke before changing. On a bad day, the same incident could trigger anger, loss of control, or even collapse. The difference between a weak and a strong person is training through those moments, learning to control reactions, and maintaining calm and decisiveness. Imagine if you only changed these 3 things in a month. Stop complaining. Stop seeking comfort. Stop making excuses. Your mind would begin to transform. You would no longer be swayed by fleeting emotions. You would learn self-mastery, resilience, and the ability to face any challenge. Important decisions would be made by reason, not by impulse. Obstacles would be workouts, not paralyzing challenges. You can continue as before, complaining, avoiding difficulty, and making excuses. Or you can pause and ask, what truly makes me weak? How long do I want to stay trapped in this cycle? When you answer honestly and act rightly, each day becomes a step in training your will. You will become stronger, more stable under pressure, and gradually unshakable. Remember, strength does not come from pink promises or empty theories. It comes from daring to confront yourself, to stop complaining, to abandon comfort, and to stop making excuses. Start today. One small step today becomes the foundation for a year, a decade, and a lifetime of unbreakable will. 3. Daily habits to build mental strength. Have you ever wondered why, faced with the same challenge. Some people overcome it easily while others crumble. Is inner strength something we are born with, or is it the result of small, daily choices? Let me ask you a simple question. If I told you that just by changing a few small habits each day, you could build a mind stronger than anyone you have ever met, would you believe me? If you want to find out, read on. The truth is, every steel-like mind is forged from the seemingly simplest routines of everyday life. People often overestimate the power of will in grand moments, when deciding to change their lives, when facing harsh challenges, but they underestimate the power of mundane habits. What you repeat every day, no matter how small, builds a solid fortress for your mind. And the best part, anyone can start, even as soon as tomorrow morning. Do you think your willpower is weak, easily shaken, or prone to giving up? Don't blame yourself. In fact, your mind merely reflects how you treat it daily. You give it too much comfort. Avoid discomfort. Indulge in old habits, of course. It weakens. Try a small change. Start your day with a challenge. For example, take a cold shower. Don't shake your head. I'm not claiming it's magic, but when you face the biting cold first thing in the morning, you send a message to your brain, I am in control. I am not afraid of discomfort. After a few weeks, you will notice not only improved health, but also significantly stronger mental discipline. Science confirms this as well. William James, one of the most renowned psychologists and philosophers of the 20th century, struggled with depression and self-doubt for many years. But instead of waiting for inspiration or a miracle from outside, he established a principle. Every day, he must do at least one thing he did not want to do, purely to train his will. It was this consistency with seemingly meaningless habits that transformed James into an influential thinker, overcoming crises that seemed impossible to escape. His story vividly demonstrates that inner strength is not a gift. It is the result of continuous daily practice, one small act at a time. Exercise is another habit you cannot ignore. The connection between body and mind is stronger than you think. When you move, your blood circulates better, and your brain produces endorphins that stabilize and sharpen your mental state. Even on the heaviest days, just 20 minutes of walking or a few push-ups can completely change your psychological state. Don't wait for motivation. Turn it into a morning ritual, like brushing your teeth or drinking water. The more you commit to your body, the more your mind learns the habit of not giving up when tired, strengthening endurance and patience. Another crucial habit is meditation. Don't think of meditation as a luxury, a waste of time, or something only for advanced people. Meditation simply means taking a few minutes each day to sit quietly, observe your thoughts without judgment. When you truly listen to yourself, you realize most negative emotions are just small waves passing by. They have no power over you unless you allow them. Meditation increases focus, emotional control, and allows faster mental recovery after setbacks. Finally, don't avoid difficulty. Actively doing something hard each day, even just one small thing, is an effective way to train your will. It could be starting a conversation you're afraid of, saying no when needed, or tackling a task you've never tried before. Each time you overcome a small challenge, you signal to your brain, I am capable. Repeated consistently, willpower becomes a natural reflex, and you realize that the big challenges in life are no longer frightening. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can choose to continue as before. Let yourself drift along old habits, reacting only when storms hit, or start building your inner fortress, brick by brick, beginning tomorrow. Don't think you need a dramatic life change. Simply change the things you repeat, and habits will do the rest. Imagine a new day. You wake up, feel the cold of water on your skin, exercise, meditate for 5 minutes, and do one difficult thing you normally avoid. All of these small but consistent things accumulate into a system of inner strength. Week by week, month by month, you will notice yourself becoming steadier, calmer, and no longer easily swayed by fleeting emotions or unexpected circumstances. Start today. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Take action, and step by step, you will become the strongest version of yourself, a mind that truly commands respect. 4. How to control your emotions under pressure. Imagine your mind as a small boat in the vast ocean. Storms can come at any time, sometimes violent, sometimes just rippling undercurrents. If you let the boat drift with the current, sooner or later it will crash into rocks or capsize. But if you learn to hold the helm tightly, actively steer, you will weather the fiercest storms without sinking. Controlling your emotions under pressure is similar. No one is born a great captain. In fact, the strong person is not someone without emotions, but someone who knows how not to let emotions dictate their actions. I once knew a man, a former colleague of mine. He was not the flashy type, quiet, reserved, with a stable job. But during a major project, when clients constantly changed requirements, the team was in chaos, and the boss pressured daily. Many younger colleagues would lose their temper, get frustrated, or walk out. Only he remained calm, handling each task methodically, even when his mind wavered. I asked him the secret. He laughed. I used to be extremely hot-tempered and impulsive, but after too many instances of overreacting and regretting it, I started a small habit. When stressed, I pause, take a deep breath, and count to 5 before speaking or acting. Initially, he found it ridiculous. But after a few weeks, he realized he no longer lost his temper unnecessarily, didn't hurt colleagues with impulsive words, and didn't ruin relationships due to brief lapses. In reality, emotions are not your enemy. They are signals, small waves reminding you of something happening inside or outside. The problem arises when you let yourself drift with emotions. Your actions become reflexive, not chosen. Then you lose control, letting circumstances and others dictate your life. No one can truly hurt you if you don't allow it. No situation can defeat you if you refuse to surrender. The biggest difference between the weak and the strong is this: how they control and respond to their emotions. Ask yourself, how many times have you lost control over something small, someone's careless comment, a boss's critique, or just traffic jams? You feel like a ticking bomb, waiting to explode. That's not the fault of circumstances. it's because you haven't developed emotional mastery. And you can change this, starting with extremely simple steps. Step 1. When emotions rise, anger, sadness, stress, pause. Don't speak or act immediately. Take a deep breath, count to 5. Quietly observe the emotion as if watching a wave on the ocean. Let the wave pass, then decide your next action. This way, you regain control instead of being swept away by feelings. Step 2. Keep a journal or simply jot down your emotions daily. This is not to complain, but to identify triggers, situations, people, or events that consistently provoke anger, sadness, or unease. When you understand what causes strong reactions, it's easier to adjust your attitude and responses. Step 3. Train your body. It may seem unrelated, but regular physical activity helps release stress, balance hormones, and improve emotional control. A healthy body is the foundation for a calm mind. Imagine running 20 minutes, breathing deeply, feeling your heart rate rise, sweat streaming down your body, trains under pressure while your mind learns calmness and patience. Remember, a strong person is not one untouched by emotional waves, but one who can hold the helm through storms. You cannot change circumstances, but you can control how you face them. If you train daily, pause, breathe, observe, then respond, you will become more mature, steadier under any pressure. Seneca once said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." You have the right to decide your course, no matter how stormy life becomes. Start today with the smallest actions. When emotions arise, pause, master your response. This is the first and most crucial step to building a mind strong enough, stable enough, and cold enough that no one and nothing can shake you. Are you ready to master your emotions? If yes, start now. Hold the helm. The sea may be rough, but the boat is yours. The waves may crash, but you can steer. Each time you practice pausing, breathing, observing, and responding intentionally, you are gradually becoming the captain of your mind, no matter the storms. 5. Embracing failure as a necessary step. Have you ever looked back at your failures and felt like the world was against you? Let's be honest, everyone has moments like that. But the truth is, failure is not the finish line. It is a test, a stepping stone, an essential condition for moving forward. I know this may sound theoretical, but let me tell you a real story. It may make you rethink how you face setbacks. Gerald, my cousin, was always meticulous. Everything had to be perfect. From a young age, he was a top student, and his early career went smoothly. But life is unpredictable. At 36, Gerald decided to invest in his own business after years of employment. It was his dream, the biggest goal he had pursued for years. Yet, less than 2 years later, the project collapsed. Gerald lost all his savings, buried in debt. Worse, he lost faith in himself and his pride. Once talkative, Gerald became withdrawn, avoiding family and friends, unwilling to speak to anyone. On the surface, many would have thought Gerald was done for, yet I witnessed something remarkable. During evening coffees with me, Gerald began daring to recount his failures. At first hesitant, bitter. Gradually, He detailed each mistake: choosing the wrong partners, overconfidence in the market, and lacking contingency plans. I asked, "How do you feel now?" Gerald said, "It still hurts, but every time I speak about it, it gets lighter. I realize failure is not to make me collapse, but to awaken me, to help me grow." That very moment of confronting failure, analyzing and learning is the turning point. If you keep avoiding it, you let failure control your mind. But when you accept that failure is an inevitable part of the journey, you are truly free. You truly progress. Think carefully. Every great achievement in life is built on stumbles, lessons paid with sweat, tears, and even wounded pride. Truly successful people are those who have failed many times but never quit. Failure is not the end. It is a rest stop where you pause, learn, adjust course, and continue on your path. The pain of failure is like an undesirable wound, yet it catalyzes honest self-reflection. It fosters humility, patience, and realism. Most importantly, failure teaches you your limits and opens new paths. Only by accepting failure and learning from it do you truly progress. As Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The lesson for you: don't let failure make you stop. Don't let others' opinions define you after each slip. Actively reflect, write down lessons learned, and discuss with a trusted friend to objectively examine everything. You will see failure is just a rest stop where you refuel, repair the rudder, and continue your journey stronger than before. Practicing embracing failure also requires principles, which can start with small steps. When a project fails, instead of hiding or ignoring it, list all mistakes. When a relationship breaks down, instead of blaming, write what you can learn. When a career or business decision fails, analyze, learn, and plan improvements. Every small action, though seemingly simple, is a brick building a steel mind. Do you want to build a steel mind? Start by embracing failure as an inevitable part of life. When you do this, no challenge can shake you for long. Stand up, move forward, and know that each failure, if reflected upon, brings you one step closer to the strongest version of yourself. Remember, failure is not the end, but a stepping stone forward. And every time you rise after a fall, you are strengthening a power no one can take away: inner strength, will, and self-mastery. This is the foundation for becoming your strongest self, and it is why truly successful people are not those who never fall, but those who never let failure dictate their fate. 6. Developing an unshakable attitude. Have you ever experienced the feeling that, in the blink of an eye, everything that seemed stable suddenly spirals out of control? 1 minute, you think you have everything under control. The next, an unexpected event leaves you bewildered, doubting yourself. It could be a major career decision, a family shock, or a life-changing opportunity that you don't know how to handle. Life has a way of testing you at the most unexpected times. But in those moments, what matters is not luck, nor purely talent, but the attitude you choose to face it all. And here's the good news: attitude is not something you are born with or without. It's a skill you can train, strengthen, and make progressively more resilient over time, like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. An unshakable attitude doesn't come from life being smooth, but from consistently choosing to control your reactions, no matter what happens. I used to be the type who wanted to control everything. I thought that if I planned carefully enough, everything would go according to my will. But life is unpredictable. There was a time I received distressing news about a loved one's health. While work was in chaos, money was tight, and my friendships were strained. It felt like every front was collapsing simultaneously. My mind was full of questions. Why me? When will this get better? Will I fall apart? Those days were truly dark, not only because of the events, but because I got swept up in my emotions, letting circumstances control my thinking. I felt small, powerless, and sometimes wanted to give up everything. But eventually, exhausted by complaining and worrying, I began asking myself, what is truly within my control right now? What can I manage, even if it's just a small thing? I realize the only thing I fully control is how I respond. I cannot change a loved one's illness, slow down time, or make everyone understand and sympathize with me. But I can choose proactively. Will I act or just sit and lament? Will I focus on what needs to be done or continue drowning in negative emotions? The answer determines everything. This is also the Stoic mindset. Nothing can make you fall unless you allow it. Life is always full of fluctuations. No one is immune to difficulties, loss, or sudden pain. But you are not a victim of circumstances unless you make yourself one. You always have the choice to respond, the choice of perspective, the choice of action. When difficulties arrive, treat them as a training ground for your will. Each time you overcome a storm, your attitude gains another layer of steel. Each time you choose calm over anger, confrontation over avoidance, you move closer to the unshakable state. Some days, all I manage is staying calm in a high-pressure meeting or remaining silent in response to a harsh comment. Other days, the lesson is daring to speak my mind, even knowing I might be misunderstood. This is the repetitive process of small choices, but gradually you will find yourself sturdier against the storm. What we call resilience is not stubbornness nor emotional numbness. It is the ability to stand firm amid chaos, knowing that everything outside may change, but your inner foundation remains unshakable. If today you feel lost or self-doubting, simply focus on what you can control and let go of obsessions over what is beyond your reach. You have already traveled half the distance toward a steadfast mind. Remember, attitude is not luck. It is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger, more durable it becomes. Each difficult situation, each emotional outburst, each unexpected challenge is an opportunity to train it. A harsh word, a sudden project, a family tension. Rather than reacting instinctively, pause, breathe, observe, and choose your response intentionally. Train deliberately every day, in every small situation. Face, accept, act. Each time you choose calmness, focus, and patience, you are forging steel in your mind. And when you maintain this consistently, regardless of storms, you will realize your attitude becomes unshakable. 7. Discipline over motivation. Everyone wants to go far, but most people rely on inspiration. They hope that one day, suddenly, a fire will ignite inside them, they will awaken, and then take action. But if you have tried, you will know, inspiration is fragile, fluctuating, and cannot be relied upon to bring about any significant change. Motivation is merely a spark. Discipline is the engine that keeps everything running, even on days you don't want to, don't feel happy, or have no enthusiasm. We have all set big goals for ourselves. In the first month, everyone is excited, scheduling gym sessions, planning reading, dieting, learning new skills. But in reality, inspiration fades quickly when it rains, when you're busy, when you're tired, or simply lazy. That's when discipline shows its true power. You don't need a special emotion to do what needs to be done. You just do it. Discipline keeps you moving forward, on both good days and bad, in moments of passion and in moments of cold indifference. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This applies even to the smallest matters. Don't just dream of results. Create a system of repeated daily actions. Don't just aim to lose weight. Commit to walking or exercising 15 minutes every day, no matter your mood. Don't wait for inspiration to learn a language. Force yourself to study 5 new words every night. Don't just want to write a book. Write 100 words every morning, whether the previous day's work was good or bad. Do you know? True progress doesn't come from explosive bursts, but from consistently showing up. Whether it's a good day or a bad day, whether you feel inspired or not. When you act regardless of emotion, you create real progress. The days you least want to act are when your willpower is strengthened the most. Discipline is not about pushing yourself to exhaustion, but about building a personal system so that even when your brain is lazy or you feel reluctant, you still fulfill your minimum commitments. Imagine starting a writing project. Initially motivated, you write 2 to 3 pages a day, but a few weeks later, motivation wanes and you want to quit. If you rely on motivation, you will fail. But if you build discipline, committing to 100 words daily, you continue bit by bit until the project is complete. Each day of action, however small, is progress. Discipline creates stability, while motivation is only a fleeting spark. You might think motivation is the fire of ambition, and discipline is the machine that steadily drives you forward. Both are important, but be honest, you cannot rely on motivation daily. You can only rely on the principles, routines, and small commitments you set for yourself. Repeated actions, day after day, are the foundation of all great results. Think back to the biggest goal you ever set and failed. Did you start with excitement, then stop when motivation waned? That's why all lasting change must be based on discipline. Start with small things. Identify one necessary habit or action and attach it to your schedule, like brushing your teeth or drinking water. Ignore mood. Ignore excuses. Just do it, day after day. I once knew another friend, Daniel. He wanted to run a marathon. At first, Daniel was very enthusiastic, running 5 kilometers a day, sharing on social media, Everything seemed perfect. But a few weeks later, with continuous rain and a busy schedule, he wanted to quit. Daniel learned to build small discipline, set a goal to walk 2 kilometers if he couldn't run 5 kilometers, and run a little every day regardless. Thanks to these small steps, after a few months, he completed his first marathon. Repeated action produces results, not fleeting bursts of inspiration. Remember, discipline is the foundation of freedom. It is the silent engine that takes you to any goal, even when no one cheers, even when nothing inspires. It keeps you standing when storms hit, when morale is low, when the world seems against you. Treat days when you don't want to do anything, when you're exhausted, as opportunities to train discipline. Because when you act despite reluctance, you build lasting strength far more enduring than any flash of motivation. If you do this consistently, a little each day, you will see motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward, regardless of emotion, circumstance, or external fluctuations. This is the only way to build a steel mind, an unshakable will, and true freedom in all life choices. Looking back on the journey of building a steel-strong mind, we all realize inner strength is not a gift from the heavens. It is the result of daily disciplined practice. From changing your mindset about challenges, daring to give up bad habits, forming positive routines, controlling emotions under pressure, embracing failure as inevitable, cultivating an unshakable attitude, to committing to discipline over fleeting motivation, all are small bricks creating a solid foundation for facing life's storms. This is the path of those who continuously move forward and master themselves. If you find this video useful or inspiring, please rate your satisfaction using the 5-level scale below. 1. The video did not meet your expectations. 2. There is still much room for improvement. 3. It's okay. Could be better. 4. The video is useful. Exactly what I was looking for. 5. Excellent. Extremely inspiring. Choose the number that matches your feeling and leave a comment below. Your feedback helps me improve content and serve you better in future videos. If you find it helpful, like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next journey with Stoic philosophy. Don't forget to watch the videos appearing at the end to continue training your mind and growing stronger together every day.